There it is.
All right. I am calling the May 15th, 2025 meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission for Currituck County to order. Oh, there's an echo on that. Are there any disqualifications or any reason any board member can't hear anything on our agenda this afternoon? Hearing none, we have a quorum of all 5 board members. We'll now take a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Virginia. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Our minutes got emailed out to us for the December 11th, 2024 meeting. If anybody needs a minute to look those over, or if not, if everybody read them when they came emailed out, we can take a motion to approve the minutes as presented. If there's a motion.
I'll motion it.
Okay, motion from Virginia. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Mary. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Minutes pass unanimously. All right. Unfinished business. At the December 11th meeting, we had amendments to our rules of procedure. I looked this up the other day. It was changes. Oh, that we may be appointed for 3 consecutive terms rather than 2, and that our regular meetings shall be held quarterly rather than monthly. Jenny, were there any other changes? Those were the 2 major ones?
Those were the 2, yep.
Okay. All right. And so if there's any discussion on that, we can have some. If not, we can take a motion, since we heard it at our last meeting, we can take a motion to update our rules of procedure.
I'll make a motion. We update our rules of procedure
Okay, motion
according
from,
to what you just read.
okay,
And I'll second it.
and second from Sophie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, like sign. The rules of procedure are passed. Now on to new business and a presentation from staff on the Joseph S. Dye House.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Mr. Donald Hewitt, who is present today, is requesting local historic landmark designation for the Joseph S. Dye House located at 2757 Currituck Highway in Currituck. Just a little brief overview of what the local landmark designation means. It's a voluntary program. Having property designated as a local landmark is an honor because it means that the community believes the property deserves recognition and protection. And with the local landmark designation, the property owner is eligible for annual 50% tax deferral, provided that the house, the property retains those important historic features, the reasons that it's deemed to be significant and have integrity. We know that we followed the process and we've adopted an inventory of homes in the county that are eligible to apply to become local landmarks. And this commission also adopted the Secretary of the Interior standards for the design guidelines to maintain that significance, integrity, and so on. So to be designated as a historic local landmark, a property must be found to possess special significance in terms of history, prehistory, architecture, archaeology, or cultural importance, and to retain integrity of design, setting, workmanship, materials, feeling, or association. So getting to the property at hand, the Joseph S. I'm going to say it both ways. Dye House. It sits on approximately 0.89 acres, which is almost 40,000 square feet, and it's right there. You can see on the map. It's just a few, probably 100 yards from here, so to the north. Yep. Here you can see the map that shows the subject property in the house here, as well as a garage that's on the property that is going to be a non-contributing garage due to the time it was constructed. So the house was moved from across the highway in 1995, placed in its current location. The design of the house is simple vernacular I-house architecture. The house's setting has changed, as I just mentioned, it was moved. But the home continues to have a similar orientation towards Currituck Highway and faces Currituck Highway. The exterior architectural details of the house are distinctive features of the vernacular I-house architectural style, which means basically it's designed with common materials and form with little ornamentation. And the homes of this type were built through shared knowledge carried by families and communities and not by architectural blueprints, catalogs, or pattern books. Materials. Most of the original materials are still present. Original double-hung sash windows have been preserved, however, they're not installed currently. The balloon framing is constructed with true-cut lumber. Original nails are of type B cut nail, popular form from the 1810s to 1900. The siding is pine shiplap. Around 2007, the aluminum siding was replaced with vinyl siding, but this covered the original siding and therefore preserves the original siding. The house's metal roofing was replaced with 3-tab asphalt shingles as well. The feeling of the house, surrounded by the late 20th century homes, acts as a living reminder of the past during the present. I think we can all agree when we see the house, we can tell this house wasn't built recently. It's an older house and it has unique feeling because of that. And the association, the house is associated with the historic Crawford as an example of traditional British folk form common in pre-railroad America. And it's still being used as a single-family dwelling by the owner. Continuing just to get in a little more detail regarding the architectural significance, again, simple vernacular I-house style architecture. An example of traditional British folk form style prevalent in mid-Atlantic rural community, especially the Talbot South after 1825. It's common in pre-railroad America. The house was moved but still fronts the highway. It's side-gabled, molded cornice, 2-story with an attic, and most of the original materials are still present. So here we can see the front elevation of the house that faces Currituck Highway. So you can see it's 2-story with an attic, side gabled end roof with molded cornice, and a 1-story porch with a gabled siding pediment. The front door features a rectangle transom as well as side lights. The original porch was replaced with a version of the original open style porch, and the original woodwork's been covered, as I mentioned, with the vinyl siding. This is the south view.
South view.
Yeah, I think there's another one of the south view here too. Yeah.
No.
Okay. So that's going to be the features that the gable end of a porch with a gradual gable pitch, rear 1st-story porch conversion to the original back of the house has a gradual roof pitch, and the end chimney is not visible as it's enclosed in the structure. This is the northwest side elevation, which features the sloped portion of the gable roof with molded cornice. The rear 1st-story porch conversion to the original back of the house has a gradual roof pitch. The end chimney is again not visible because it's enclosed in the structure as it was originally. And then the rear is the flattest elevation of the house, and it features the rear gable. Let's see. So this proposed statement of significance is that the house is being proposed for designation because of its local architectural significance in the county. Joseph Dye was the first documented owner of the house, and oral history suggests the home was moved from 254 South Currituck Road to the property at 2756, circa 1850. And Joseph Dye served as postmaster in 1846 at the Currituck County Courthouse and worked as a merchant throughout his life. And he and his wife boarded one of their farm laborers, Joseph Jarvis, a Currituck-born native, in the home. On August 1st, 1861, Joseph Jarvis, age 23, enlisted for the war, where he was later mortally wounded in 1864. And then continuing this statement of significance, the extended I-house retains its center hall plan with paired end chimneys and a rear extension common in the early to mid-1800s to give increased ventilation during summer as well as interior living space during confining winters. The Joseph S. Dye House is best described as vernacular as it lacks the complexity of form and roof line that identifies high-style examples more commonly found in urban areas. This architectural style symbolized economic mobility, particularly among rural areas, as a visual representation of progressing from a frontier world of rough hewn logs to a more civilized world leveraging wood framing. Again, the property is being proposed for designation because of its local architectural significance, and staff recommends approval of the local landmark designation. The SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office, also reviewed the landmark report, gave some feedback to staff which has been incorporated into the report, and believe that with that information that the landmark property does meet the requirements to be adopted as a local landmark, because it's a good example of an extended I house, a vernacular house type endemic to the Tidewater region of North Carolina. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions the board may have at this time.
Any questions?
Y'all did a lot of research since December.
I give Patrick all the credit. Patrick and Mr. Hewitt. Yeah,
Enjoyed it.
yeah.
It's a good report.
That's
It's
a
really
great
good.
report, thank you.
Great.
Hard work, well documented.
Can I ask, just, and this has nothing really to do with this, just for future reference, what did the state ask you to update?
Sure.
What were the things that, just since we had discussed in December, I'm just curious what we missed.
Yeah, absolutely. So there were two key pieces of feedback from their initial review. Perhaps three. I take that back. Perhaps three. One was a mention of moderate degree of integrity, which is understandable, and I think there's an expectation of that with the siding. Another piece of feedback to incorporate, which unfortunately could not, was that between 1908 and 1995, we are aware of the owners. However, there wasn't a significant owner that had a high-profile presence in the county that we could speak to. And this is hand in hand with the moderate degree of integrity. This feedback was from a restoration specialist, and their specific concern was the addition of 2 decks and the external garage structure. So that's understandable feedback as well.
Okay, thank you.
So do you
Absolutely.
think, was the house moved across the road when the owners that we don't know anything about had it? Was it because the highway was coming through?
They were widening the highway, and a young couple bought it and just moved it, and then I bought it. It was never, they never lived there. They just did it as an investment. It was gonna be knocked down, basically, if they hadn't bought it.
Yeah, I remember when it was moved. Not the first time when it was moved in 18 whatever, but the 95 move, I remember.
It's in the report, but it's a lengthy list of deeds. The oldest deed was 1908, but perhaps it saved it as investments at times from it being modified or remodeled. So perhaps that was working in its favor.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Would anybody like to make a motion on this house for approval or denial to be added to the, as a local landmark for our recommendation?
I'll motion to approve it.
Okay, motion to approve from Virginia. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Mary.
May I just ask for that motion to include, sorry, I did something here with the slideshow, to include the significance statement.
Okay.
Let's see.
Do you need us to read that, or can we just amend the motion?
I think that if you just put it into the motion, and we'll take the statement of significance from these 2 slides, if that works for
Yeah, if
for
A
you.
motion to approve it based on its architectural significance.
Okay.
Does that suffice?
Yes, that's fine.
And Mary, do you still second?
I do.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor vote aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Passes unanimously.
Congratulations.
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 Yeah.
Couldn't done it without you.
And thank you, staff.
Yeah, thank you. That was a very good report.
Yeah, thank you.
Labor of love.
Yeah, good.
We'll be in touch with next steps from here.
Okay.
It will likely be scheduled for the Board of Commissioners at the second June meeting.
Okay, do I need to be there for that one?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll send out a reminder to you before.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay.
Something all done, or?
Yep, you're done.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jenny, please
All
let
your
us.
hard work y'all did.
Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work maintaining the house. Jenny, let us know too when that comes. If you just
Sure.
don't forget to email us just in case anybody wants to come.
Sure.
Okay.
He picked up on the fact that this person who built that house is also the one who built that very large house on Tolls Creek Road, the Dye House.
Well, I saw that, but that was a Paulus die, wasn't it? And this is Joseph.
But it's still in that Dye family.
Right, same family.
And the period.
Apollo was Joseph's son.
I've always seen his name written as Apollos, but it may be Apollo. There could be a typo somewhere in one of the
I
records.
noticed in several documents, but I believe it might have been when the estate was settled, where because of the calligraphy,
Yeah.
it probably happened in the, when someone was typing it, the records got a little messy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was quite a journey
Yes.
going through the family history.
Yes.
I'll just
So is
say
that
on
house
the,
still here?
go ahead, I'm sorry.
What?
That house you're speaking about, is that still?
It's still standing. It has been remodeled at least twice that I know of. And the last remodel, when I took the state people through looking at possible National Register properties, because I thought that house would very well qualify, but they said their comment, and this is not official, was that it had been changed too much from the original to be considered for a National Register. That does not mean it cannot be considered for us, because the exterior is pretty much the same, but the interior in terms of hallways and rooms have been expanded and changed. And National Register, we don't have to consider the interior of a building, but they do. And so if it has been changed so much that the style has actually been changed, they will not consider it. Now, I never say never, because I was told, used to be told if it had vinyl siding on it, don't even fill out an application, and now that has changed. So you never know
Or
what's going to
materials are
change.
underneath.
If it had vinyl siding, don't fill out an application for what exactly?
National Register,
National,
So
okay.
yeah. But that was back in, when I first started dealing with preservation and with the state. And over the years, it has been changed to, if the original is there and there is a chance that it can be taken off and repaired back to the original state, then you do not hold that against it when you make a decision as to whether the nomination should go forward to Washington.
Okay.
And where is this one located?
The
What?
other die house.
It is, okay, once you turn on to Tolls Creek Road, you see the big wide gates.
Oh, yeah.
Is back there. The other thing that makes that house fairly interesting, it has the largest magnolia tree that we know of in this whole region. I mean, it's gigantic. And it was considered for national recognition as a magnolia, but the owner did not want them to do the boring that had to be done to prove the age.
Gotcha.
So she was the one who had initiated that honor, but when she found out they wanted to do a boring, then she said no, she didn't want the tree to be bored. Maybe they have new owners now, and so they may have a different, different thing. But the exterior of the house is pretty much the same, the way it was, when it was originally built. There have been, but the interior is not.
1820.
I realize I'm on camera and I'm not supposed to be talking about things like that.
Well, it's not a landmark yet, so.
It's not.
It's not, no.
But we're saying how it relates to this one and the family.
How it was related to that, yes.
So,
You all, can I also tell you the other story historically?
yes, sure.
There is a newspaper article in I can't remember the exact date, I'll have to pull it. But that is the house that they found the gold coins in, and was recorded in the newspaper in London because somebody was out there and hit the tree, and they found, what they say was bags of gold coins.
well.
At this house, Toll Creek House.
Yeah. And supposedly it was also won on a poker game, too.
Yeah, so
But
18, trying to think when the gold coins were found. I've got the newspaper over there. I'll pull it one of these days and show
Who
you.
owns it? Who owns it now?
Pointer didn't hide gold coins in the
What?
house.
Yeah.
I said, I'm always complaining that C. Pointer didn't hide
you never know.
coins in
You
my
never
house.
know. Maybe you just haven't found them.
Two places gold coins have been found in Currituck County is the Dye House and Knott's Island. Yeah,
Nobody from your end of the county.
that have been documented. Let's say it
Remember, we
that way.
found a little secret area under the barn loft ladder,
Uh-huh.
but there's like remains of an old barrel in it, but nothing.
All right.
Talking about outside shower.
Any announcements?
I just wanted to say that on the, we'll send you the information for when this landmark report goes to the board, this application goes to the board. But if we feel like 3 or more of us will be there, 3 or more of the commission members, we need to advertise that there could be a quorum there. So if you
Maybe
just
we need a poll.
are you,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe if you know now, if you plan on coming.
When,
now.
what is the date?
It was June.
Gonna be June, 15th, I think?
17th? Is it a Monday or Tuesday?
It's commissioners, so it'll be a
16th.
Monday.
June
16th.
16th.
That's the third week.
1, 2,
Yes.
3.
I won't be here.
Give me just a second.
And there's no requirement we come. It's just if anybody would like to.
What time is the meeting?
6.
6. All right, I put it on the calendar. I'll try to show up.
I may possibly, but depends.
Virginia, you come. Okay, then there's at least 3 of us not coming, so you might have 2.
Okay, you won't be coming
I
either.
won't.
One
Yeah.
of us I'll back out if I
Okay.
need to.
Well, you can come. That way, you and Mary would only be 2.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other announcements?
How about new business?
We don't have a new business section.
So I have to do it
agenda.
now. Announcements, okay? All right, we have had, first thing is, May is National Preservation Month. And I just got off a Zoom meeting with the state, and they were talking about putting up foldable or collapsible banners on when things are going on. And it just popped into my head that maybe we want to put something in front of the courthouse that says National Preservation Month or Preservation Matters or something like that, to at least let people know that we're here. And if you don't want to do it here, I'll be glad to let you put it out on the highway, on that strip of road that I own there. You can put it,
You have a banner?
no, but we'd have to have one made.
Or even if we just put it on social media, that would be.
Well,
And I know I've volunteered this before, but if you get a yard sign made and you wanna put like a short form URL for HPC, like I'll put it in my lawn, for a month or something.
and that way, and if we did something that we could use over and over again, we wouldn't have to have the expense of doing that. But, so,
I just want
that's
to
an idea.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on what this commission is directing or requesting.
Well,
You're requesting
no,
a.
this is my idea.
Oh, this is your idea.
Is an
Okay.
idea that I'm presenting to the board.
Okay.
Is this something we would want to
Okay.
do to bring the idea of preservation? I remember the Historical Society did one year put a banner on the Jarvisburg Colored School when it had not yet been restored, just saying May is Preservation Month, to make people think about using old buildings for things. And so that is it's an idea I'm presenting. Y'all discuss it and see if you like it or not.
I mean, I think the issue for us is that we don't have money budgeted.
Also, it's
And time,
May
right
15th.
now. It's May 15th,
Yeah,
it's halfway through
yeah.
the month.
So, I mean, what I could do is ask Randall if he wants to put something together on, like you mentioned, Josh, for social media.
I think,
Always May, though?
What?
Is it always May?
Yes, it is always May.
So, I mean, it's something we could look forward
Put
to.
forward.
what I would think I would just maybe check Jenny and see if y'all could do it potentially, is if you could just maybe put something on the county Facebook page and just say May is, National Preservation Month, and just maybe a link to our site. If you know anybody that's interested in historic preservation, we have the commission.
Because I do think part of our charge is education.
It is.
And so that sometimes we forget that education is really probably more valuable than sitting here and approving, buildings.
I for one would like to see more done with that, like more outreach, like education for even children or just an interested public, and kind of spread the word that way, because I think we're very unknown entity.
Well, I think the best thing we ever did to draw attention was the tour. I think that tour, and should this one pass, we would have 4 properties. Now, I don't know that you can do a tour with just 4 properties, but we're getting close to where you would be able to do a tour of just landmark properties.
Okay, well, to tag on to that, I received a formal request from the Currituck County Historical Society's president, which is not me anymore, that would we consider working with them on a house tour, that they thought the one that we did was very, very good, and they would like to see, and would like to co-sponsor one with us, to do another one either this year or next year. I think they're thinking more about this year, but they would like, I was asked to bring that before you and see if that's something y'all would be interested in doing.
I thought it was really good. I know it was a lot of work for y'all, but I think if the Historical Society helped,
It was excellent.
it was.
People just, it was so popular, and I think if we did it, and the Shawboro Ruetan Club, wasn't it the Ruetan?
Oh, the
Mason.
Masonic Lodge, oh, they're
Masonic
all
Lodge.
about it. But I think we should look to do it next year. It takes planning. People need to, your homeowners need to know more in advance than we would give them now. If we want to do this in like October when the weather's better and cooler, that's a I think it's a short turnaround for homeowners to get their yard, how they would like it, or the interior, to advertise it, to find people to staff the houses. But that's just my input.
I agree. Maybe coincide it with the preservation month, like the early May next year or something.
All right.
I don't object to doing it in October, though. I was on the tour last year, and I'd do it again in October.
Okay. Well,
So, if you-
all right, what am I supposed to tell them? That we're interested in doing it, and that who is going to coordinate with them?
Okay, Jenny, I'm just thinking about this from an official capacity. Since we're an official county board, how would we coordinate with that?
What does that mean, coordinate with them? Like, what is the,
Well,
what do they want to
they're the
do?
ones who asked that could it be done again? And I think what they're thinking about is that they would help in terms of manning and publicity and things like that and organizing. But since,
And organizing.
well, helping with the organization. I don't think, from what I was talking to Russ Steele is now the president, I don't think from talking to him that he wants to take it on as a, quote, standalone historical society project. He liked the idea that it came from us and the way we selected the houses, that kind of thing. And so, I, my suggestion is that we appoint someone to talk to him, and probably, Jenny, it would need to be you, since you're, about what it would involve, who was going to do what, the logistics of it.
Right, so if I'm thinking about how we did it before, you guys determined which houses you wanted to target for the tour, and you split up the ownership of that, and you each contacted
Yeah.
the folks that wanted to participate in the tour. So, I mean, that's probably something that you would still do. I think the best way for them to assist is, I think one of the takeaways from the last time was, it would be nice if we had some more volunteers, so then the folks like you that are very interested in seeing these houses also have the opportunity to go out and about and see the houses during the time frame that we have. So I think that's where they'll probably have the biggest, where they can assist the most, is in the
Did they not help last
volunteering.
time?
No, we did the whole house tour, well, Jenny,
Who
Did-
were there were some other volunteers that helped at the houses besides us.
The owners.
Got to see like one house.
There was
Yeah.
there was
So
a
the
lot of
owners-
planning staff that
Planning
there was
staff,
a lot of
yes.
planning
Oh,
staff
so
that came and helped
your
us.
staff was the
Mm-hmm.
ones
Was
putting
it did.
Yeah, they helped
They-
a
they
lot.
did
And
the program.
it was basically us here in this room and planning staff and the owners and whoever the owners had at their houses, which
And
for many.
and I could be wrong, but I felt like some of the planning staff enjoyed it. But I mean, it's a Saturday. You're asking people to work on a Saturday, which I
Yeah.
get is, you know.
Yeah, and some of them actually were able to go and
Yeah.
see a house or two, and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They don't work here anymore.
Yeah, right, right. So I'm not sure if the people here would feel the same way. But maybe start with that, Jenny. Maybe kind of ask people if they'd be interested if we were to do it.
You mean staff?
Yeah,
persons?
yeah. If they'd be
Oh yeah,
interested.
staff will definitely. I don't have to ask them. They'll
Okay,
do
but
it.
it's it's a Saturday. I know that's asking a lot because we did it on a Saturday.
especially in
but-
October, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't be mandatory, and
Yeah.
we could even open it up to other departments if they
Yeah.
wanted to help. But if you're saying the
think-
historical society wants to participate and
This
kind of
is-
That would be a good
mainly
way for
wants
them to
another
do it.
tour, that might be. But we probably need to start talking about what we did before, same houses plus more, or
different
how will it.
houses.
How will that work? And I definitely am going to say that if we could handle it in a similar way before, because y'all did a lot of the legwork of arranging and getting those property owners on board. And
But
I think we just had one house pull out right at the very
The
end.
church too.
Yes.
Right,
Because they
the
had a
church.
funeral.
That's right. That's
That was a
right.
We did
a
pull out
funeral.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
did. Who was
That's
it?
something to keep in
Was it
mind
Jim?
with the churches
No.
too, is that,
In a minute, they can be.
yeah,
house went up on the
yeah.
market.
yeah.
But I mean, we tried to do one south, and we couldn't get anybody to participate. In
Right,
opening
they
their
didn't want to
home.
open the homes.
Sophie, you have an old house, just saying.
Oh,
and
Lord,
you're
it's-
south of the
no,
bridge.
they don't
Okay,
wanna come
okay.
see
I'm
my
just saying.
We gotta focus on the Outer Banks, 'cause there's
Well-
so many historic properties.
When we at the chamber did the 350th house tour, we did the Pine Island Hunt Club, which they're always willing to open. Twitty opened the life saving station. We took people up to the Wash Woods station, but that's 4-wheel drive, so that was kind of a pain. But it's doable. But I mean, Twitty would open a building for us. The Lighthouse probably would. They might open the Keeper's House or something, and then Audubon.
Ginger would open hers up.
So, we've had the Dr. Griggs house before. Gayla opened up the Dr. Griggs house in 2018.
That was.
Wanda Beasley did her house in 2018. John and Brooke might, if somebody really asked them, maybe. Maybe.
And my house was in it in 2018.
But the advantage
So
of
we're
having the
spread out.
Historical Society with us
Just
is
over 2
nothing
days.
else, that gives
Yeah,
you
the
100 people
interbank.
who would be contacted at least,
Outside.
which
They do
may
outside.
increase.
We did Flyway Lodge.
Participation.
Yeah.
We did Flyway.
I did, yeah, that one was cool.
I just,
And the Methodist Church. And then we did a dinner for everybody at the end.
Sandra's.
2018, yeah. Sandra did a little dinner for everybody.
And Sandra always seems to be open
Yeah.
for doing her house. So,
Is it too early to start reaching out, you think, or is it?
No, if we're gonna do it in October this year, we need to like,
Should we,
Do you think that's too?
should we schedule a meeting
Or should we wait?
and to discuss this, put this on the agenda and discuss it?
Yes, well, I'm thinking we need to go back to the Historical Society too. I guess ask Russ for a date. Give us a date. And then let's put it on the agenda, but that way we're having something
Yeah,
to
and
work
any
towards.
properties who you know would be open to doing it.
Okay, I'm gonna,
Should we go,
I'd like a date.
should we float dates and ask if those work? I mean,
could.
it's,
I could put my house on it if you need to, as long as I get to see something, you know. Because the last time I didn't get to see any properties.
So do you think May? I mean, October? Or wait till May?
But what I was saying, the reason I said that you need to discuss it with Russ, if it's going to be ours and the Historical Society, either Josh or Jenny, you need to be talking to Russ. And then let him talk to the other members of the executive committee of the Historical Society. In the past, I could speak for them, but I can't do that anymore.
How'd you talk him into taking over?
What?
How'd you talk him into taking over?
yeah, I'm just
I
thinking
just
through
said I can't
the
do it
logistics on
anymore.
it. That's okay. I mean, we can look at Saturdays in October real quick. Maybe just suggest a date.
let's not do it on the 10th and 11th.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's
Does
Columbus.
Morris Farm have any concerts in October?
Well,
Well, that could be good or bad, depending on.
October.
The
I don't know how we tell what's going on the 18th. Let's see.
the 25th
Okay,
could be good.
please stay away from October the 19th,
That's a Sunday.
That's a Sunday. We
the
probably,
Sunday.
are you in this year or next year?
I'm in this year.
yeah, the 19th.
The
is a
19th?
Oh, this
Sunday.
year doing this? I thought the
Oh, we're-
discussion was next.
October of 26.
No, I think we just swung back into the 25th. I
Oh.
mean, 2025. Did we?
I think that's
When-
too soon.
What is okay?
I mean, it's June, July, August.
What is the schedule? What is the schedule for the county magazine? Because I remember that was really good advertising
The
for us last
focus
time.
on
Yeah,
Currituck?
yeah.
I'm not sure.
That probably will drive the date. Is when we would need to submit to that.
So ZZ Top is October
I-
2nd. If we go.
Dare County do there, is that
I don't-
October?
Kill Devil Hills. It's always Columbus Day weekend.
Okay. I've never been to it.
It's good.
I need to do it.
And their landmark commission does the tour, but they only have landmark properties on tour. But they have more landmark properties. Than we
They're a
do.
weekday, aren't they?
No, they're. Oh yeah, it may be a Friday. It's a Friday.
Oh, shoot, they're going to coincide with the Ghost Walk then this year.
It's like the weekend before.
It seems aggressive to me for this year.
Yeah. Well,
October 11th.
then go back to Russ and let's talk about spring.
Let me look that up.
He did not say when he was, he didn't give me any indication when he was thinking about it.
Probably need to know what they want, how they want to be involved.
What I have heard from the people in Edenton that do tours is spring tours tend to actually be harder. Well, nobody likes Christmas tours because you've got to decorate. They say the problem with spring tours is people do need to fix up their yards more because people expect pretty flowers and things like that. And that's why some people like fall tours is the expectation that your yard's going to be really pretty is less.
Just as many plants in the fall.
So,
Yeah, but they're all dead.
yeah.
By that point, people are done.
Yeah,
They're just so
yeah,
over
yeah.
their gardens.
And people don't
So
expect
many pole plants.
people don't expect it as much. A spring show, they expect pretty yards.
That's why Virginia Garden Week is always.
Yeah. So that's why they tend to do,
I guess
That's
we
18
better
to
make
20.
sure of the date for the Dare County. So as you said, it was October 11th last year.
Is it Veterans Day? No, not
I
Columbus
don't see
Day.
anything for this year, but
Not Veterans, Columbus.
you know,
Do they even have it every, they have it every other year, right?
yeah, let me talk to let's talk to Russ a little bit. But yeah, maybe,
Just reach back out and we can schedule
Yeah,
another
yeah.
meeting. And when,
'Cause of-
yeah, we can do a doodle poll. And
yeah. But I think you can let them know that we're at least open to it, you know, us, and we certainly would help recruit houses. So
So are you gonna talk to them?
I can, or here he called Barbara. Do you want to call him back? I don't mind either way. Barbara, did you want to talk to him, or did you want to talk to him, or did you want me to?
I want you to.
You want me to? Okay. All right. I'll talk to Russ. All right.
I'm sorry,
That's all right. Any other announcements?
I just have a question, and I'm sure I've asked this before, but I can't remember. What about the possibility of getting the county-owned historic buildings on the landmark program?
yeah, you've asked. We have not, to this point, we have not had. I guess I can check with Rebecca to see if she has a viewpoint on that, or if the board is interested in having our county properties designated. But previously, we've not done that. So
Yeah, because we have so many, Outer Banks and Inner Banks. Like, I think that would be so cool, to have that. And then just having those signs in front makes people be like, what's that sign? And then,
yeah, it'll be interesting once if the board does approve the die house, and then you have a sign on the highway.
That will be nice.
Oh, that will
Your
be.
first sign on the highway. So.
Oh, that's true. I hadn't thought of that.
and I thought of a question a couple months ago, and I meant to call you and ask you, does our regulations have any rules or guidelines for group nominations?
Group nominations. What do you mean by
Like
that?
a district?
Not like a district, but like, we have a number of, well, specifically black churches here in the county that, if that would, most of them would qualify. And I was thinking that would be another way of getting those signs out. And would, just like having the signs here on our government buildings, people would notice them, and that would might increase people's interest. And the only group I could think of was the black churches in the county, and that would go from one end of the county to the other. I'm not sure if there are any other groups that I can think of that might qualify as such.
Pilgrims.
old educational buildings, maybe?
Masonic lodges.
Like, we still have one teacherage.
I just need to make sure I'm understanding when you're saying group. Do
Okay,
you
well,
mean
we would
one report
we-
for multiple properties?
Yeah,
or?
we would contact, under the National Register, we have done that with, like the Rosenwald schools. We've made group nominations in certain counties where there are like a group of Rosenwald schools, because instead of doing each individual one, do them as a body, say 4 or 5. And the National Register, they would all be on the National Register, but as a group. And we would have to contact the churches and just ask if they are interested. Some of them may not be. And the other thing about doing a group nomination is that it is, I guess I could say, the write-up is easier, because you are doing one write-up, and then you're designated, these are
Sure.
churches that went in that point.
I don't think we have the ability to do that, but we can check with the state preservation office and ask if that's
Well, they
something
may
that
say
they're
you
familiar
can't do
with.
it,
Because I know what we're doing is a little different than the National Register properties.
Yeah. I don't
I think it's
remember.
property specific, but I'll certainly ask the
That would
question.
work, 'cause they'd have to pull permits if they needed to do anything.
Right.
and-
Yeah, we do have the right to do districts, but we don't have any districts really that would qualify.
But
I can't imagine any church that would do that.
I remember Pilgrim's Journey in Moyoc talked about
They're
it.
still working on it.
But if I'm right, aren't churches, I think they're tax exempt, correct, from
Yes,
property
so
taxes?
it- it
So
would
there's
be-
no
Right.
benefit
It
to
would be
them
no
was the.
benefit
It's
except
just
the
the
honor for them.
Honor
Yeah.
of the sign.
And what I was thinking about is we have 5 Andrew Cartwright churches here in the county. And that makes it historically very, very significant.
Well, I think that to me would be an interesting focus of the house tour because we had put churches on some of the previous, house tours, although they're not houses. But I think that would be an interesting focus of a tour.
Andrew Cartwright churches.
This is almost unrelated, but the railroad was completed in 1881 by Shingle Landing. I mean, that's a neat little historic tidbit. If we ever wanted like a sign there or something. So that was like a giant project.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I think this has to be
What are the
buildings.
5 churches?
I think state for this
It's
program.
objects
The Cartwright
too.
It can be
churches
objects.
are,
Okay, so a railroad could qualify.
Good Hope,
Could,
Pilgrim's Progress.
they would.
I think you'd have a hard
I
time.
believe so.
I think you'd have a hard time though with
Providence,
historic significance because it's probably all been
Baptist.
taken up and redone over the
It's the
years.
same, it's on the same road.
Yeah,
There's 2
Yeah.
Providences. One is the white one in Shawboro.
That would be an
and then
interesting
there's one
argument.
else
Yeah.
I can ask
Shawboro
the
that is
Christy
Yeah.
Brantley at the
black.
state office on
Yeah.
that too.
Providence Baptist Church.
okay. Any other announcements?
I'm sitting here thinking I can't.
Okay, hearing none. Any public comments? Hearing none, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. We're adjourned.
Where,